I would not buy these homes in Summerville, South Carolina. If you are moving to Summerville, South Carolina, and one of these homes is on your list, stop, because this is how people end up regretting their move 6 months later. I help families relocate to Summerville every single week, and I see the same mistakes over and over again. These are not bad people. These are smart people. They just didn't know what they didn't know. So today, I'm breaking down the homes I would personally not buy in Summerville. And if you are already under contract on one of these, just watch. All right, let's start with the house that gets everyone emotional. The photos are perfect, white kitchen, quartz countertops, big open living room, and on Zillow, it looks like a steal. Pause. But what the photos don't show you is real life. They don't show you the drive. They don't show you the traffic. They don't show you the school pickup. They don't show you how long it takes to get anywhere. And I see this all the time. People visit once, usually they come on a weekend and they say, this doesn't seem so bad. But weekends are not real life. Weekdays are real life. Morning traffic is real life. Afternoon school pickup, real life. And that house that felt peaceful on Saturday, well, feels very different on Tuesday at 7:30 a.m. This is where regret starts. You didn't buy a bad house, you bought the wrong location for your lifestyle. If the photos made you emotional, this next one matters. Section 2, the master plan community trap. So this one's going to upset some people, and that's okay. Just because a neighborhood is popular does not mean it's right for you. Summerville has a lot of large master plan communities that, hey, they look amazing, they have beautiful amenities, they have pools, they have walking trails, but here's what people don't realize. Not every section is the same. Same neighborhood, same name, very different experience. Some subsections where they've built 5 or 10 years apart have different builders, different quality, different lot sizes, sometimes different HOA rules, and people overpay because everyone else is doing it. They don't ask why. They don't ask what phase they're buying in. They don't ask what's still being built around them. And then they move in and realize the hype doesn't match their daily life. You didn't buy the dream, you bought the market. And this is the issue. I have so many of you who have done this, who call me 6 months later and like, Ryan, we're ready to list our house. We should have bought in the Coves, or we should have bought in Midtown, or we should have bought in the pre-owned section of Carnes Crossroads. They get upset because the dream isn't there, because they bought the marketing. Popular doesn't mean perfect. All right, section 3, the too good to be true new construction deal. So this is another property that I would say I'd probably pass on. If the incentive sounds insane, there's a reason, okay? I love new construction, but I'm also very picky because cheap on day one can be very expensive later. People hear things like rate buy downs and closing cost credits, and they stop asking questions. They don't look at the lot. They don't look at how close their neighbors are. They don't look at how fast the home was built. They don't think twice about warranty service, and they definitely don't think about resale. And I see these homes after closing, not on Instagram, when the excitement wears off, when punch lists never end, and when the builder, they've already moved on. New construction is not bad, but blindly trusting incentives is. I recently had a gentleman from Long Island reach out to me, and for a year, him and I had talked about neighborhoods and things like that. And recently, as many people do, on an impulse, he went in and talked with the builder, and they of course said to him, hey, we have this great incentive, we have this great lot, it's the last one, and you're probably not gonna see prices better than this. And he jumped on it. He jumped on it like a live grenade. And unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be very happy, especially if it's true of all the things that he told me he's looking for from a neighborhood. He went ahead and dove in because of the marketing, because of the incentives, instead of really looking at the bigger picture and deciding, hey, is this going to be the right neighborhood for me? And after talking to him for a year, I don't know if it's going to be the right neighborhood for them, but We will see. Only time will tell. Free isn't free if it costs you peace. All right, guys, moving on. Section 4, the flood zone surprise house. Oh, yeah. Buckle up. Someone always says it's never flooded. That doesn't matter. What matters is risk. What matters is insurance. What matters is how do you feel every time it rains. Flood zones don't just affect waterfront homes, they affect inland homes too. And people don't think about resale. They don't think about the premium increases. They don't think about storm season stress. You don't feel it on sunny days. You feel it when the weather turns. And that feeling never really goes away. A couple of months ago, I was working with some buyers who were pretty concerned about flood zones, but we found a home that actually was in a flood zone X right in the heart of Summerville. And when we went to go look at the home, I immediately could smell wet mold smell coming from the garage. I walked in the garage and I could see where water had at one point come up about 6 to 12 inches in that garage. It still felt wet, mildew, mold in the garage. And I could tell that the sellers had already beat feet. They were out of that home. So that home had been sitting like that for a good amount of time. And I immediately pointed it out to my buyers because I wanted them to be aware, hey, this isn't a flood zone X, but this looks like this might have flooded recently. And then when we looked at the backyard, you could clearly tell from the fence where water had come up to. So it was a really good thing that my clients decided to pass on that home. This is the regret people don't talk about. Section 5, the we'll grow into it floor plan. Yeah. No, you won't. This one sounds logical and it almost always backfires. People buy more house than they need. They buy for future life that may never happen. Now, my side of things, I end up having 5 kids. So yeah, we needed this space. And at the time, we didn't need it, but we knew we were gonna have more kids. So knowing that we were gonna use all the bedrooms and bathrooms, it was a smart decision. But sometimes people end up with rooms they never use, stairs they absolutely hate, and layouts that don't match how they actually live. Square footage looks great on paper, but functionality matters more. I see families downsize later, not because they can't afford it, but because they're tired of it. That bonus room becomes a regret room real fast. Section 6, the house that makes sense on paper, but not in real life. This is one of the sneakiest ones, okay? Because spreadsheets don't catch lifestyle friction, HOA rules you ignored, parking that doesn't work, noise you didn't notice on your showing, and storage that doesn't exist. These things, they add up. And they slowly drain your enjoyment. It checked every box, right? Except peace and storage space and extra parking space and the noise from across the street neighbors or all these additional things that now drive you crazy, right? So this is something you need to be aware of. I tell people this, like, think about it. How many cars do you have? Are you gonna add more cars? Do you think you'll be here till your kids are 16? Are you gonna need to get them a car? Are you gonna have a golf cart? Where are you gonna put all your Christmas decorations, Halloween decorations? You guys have to think of this stuff because a lot of people don't, and that's where they make the biggest mistakes and regrets. Every regret I talked about today came from a real family. Families who were excited, families who trusted the process, and families who later said, I wish someone would have told us this. That's why I make these videos, guys. I am a victim of my own videos. I'm telling you, I personally experienced one of these regrets. And so the reason I'm doing these is because I want to help you not make the same regrets. It's not to scare you, it's to protect you. So if you're thinking about moving to Summerville, South Carolina, and you want real guidance, reach out. I'll help you avoid the mistakes I see every week. Do me a favor, hit like and subscribe and tap that notification bell and send this to someone who's about to make a very expensive mistake. All right, guys, click this video and we'll keep the party going.